Hello and welcome to our nail desensitizing tutorial where we went from an anxious dog like this to the calm dog that you will see in the future. Hi guys, my name is April and this is my 2-year-old Corso, Drax. So I wanted to film this video for you guys about how we went over some of our nail desensitizing to the grinder and give you just a little bit of backstory. If you already know this, you can just skip ahead and go to the tutorial. But we got Drax as a puppy from a reputable breeder. And he was pretty active and wore his nails down naturally where we weren't having to constantly work on grinding them down. And so I failed as an owner to desensitize him to a grinder well. And then as he got older and he got more size to him, he just did not tolerate it. He just wasn't having it, and I realized that I had kind of created a monster in that regards. Obviously he's not a monster. He's a very good boy, but he didn't tolerate it well. And I knew that if we kept going on that road, that it would most likely end up where he would have to be sedated for nail trims. And with sedation, there's always a risk, so I just wasn't willing to do that. And I thought, you know what, enough is enough. We're gonna get this figured out between the two of us. And so I just took it upon myself to start working on desensitizing intentionally. One of the mistakes I was making prior to this was I was just trying to get the job done, so I would really rush through it. I'd get really anxious because he has really thick black nails, and I'd get really nervous about catching a quick. And I think these dogs are very in tune with emotions, and he would pick up on some of my anxiety and my rushing, and we would just feed off of each other's negativity and just making it a very unpleasant experience. So going into this training and desensitizing program, just know that the whole goal is to get them neutral. They may not love it, they're not going to be wanting to grind their nails every day, but it's to get them to tolerate it and be a little more comfortable. So the goal isn't to get that nail in this tutorial as smooth and as fine as you can get it. It's to get them comfortable with it touching their nail, and then working up to that over time to where they eventually, you can shape them and you can get that nail grinded down to where you need it to be. So just go into this training knowing that that's your mindset, is slow and easy wins the race in the long run. It's more of a marathon. We're not sprinting in this desensitizing. So with all that being said, let's jump into the tutorial and we'll go from there. I like to do his nail trimming on his bed to keep him comfortable. A couple things you'll need is your grinder. This is just one that I use, nothing crazy fancy about it. And then I always make sure my quick stop, in case I happen to catch a quick, is nearby. And if you use clippers, you can use those too. We're gonna focus on the grinder, and then a very high value treat. So we're using chicken. So in the beginning, when we were desensitizing, I went ahead and used a slip lead just to make sure that he couldn't completely run away from me. So I just used my door like this and slip it through just to kind of anchor him somewhere. He doesn't really need the leash anymore. We phased that out, but this was my very, very beginning steps. And then I just slip it over just to have a little control and make sure that he's stationary. And then I go ahead and have him hop up on his bed. Okay, so we want to make sure we take this really slow and easy. So right now I don't even have the Dremel on. I have my high value treats in hand. I'm just getting used to him seeing it and smelling it and rewarding him. So as you can see, it's not on, and I'm just going to get it kind of close to his nail and then reward him with chicken. So right now there's not really any stimulation specifically with the Dremel, and just getting him used to this new random object that's coming at him. So with each of these steps, you really want to go slow, give lots of treats, lots of affection. If they're showing signs of stress, a lot of yawning and panting, they look anxious, just slow down and take your time. So the whole point is really trying to just get them comfortable. Again, the Dremel isn't on, but I'm just getting him used to it. So if your dog tolerates that step, next we're going to go ahead and turn our Dremel on. And again, we're not bringing it to their foot. What we're just doing is getting them used to the noise and the vibration sound, and just lots of reward, lots of praise. Make sure you are talking to your dog through this whole time, trying to make it as positive of an experience as it can be for them. Again, I'm just touching his foot with my hand and not the Dremel, and letting the Dremel just run in the background for him. Again, if your dog is not tolerating that well, just take it slow, keep giving praise, keep giving affection. Don't rush this. This is not the goal of this desensitizing, is to get their nail actually trimmed. It's just to get them used to the sound and the object. So again, I'm just holding his paw with it on, but not exactly touching his foot. Alright, so next step is what we're going to do is bring it close to his foot, but I'm not touching his nail yet with the grinder on, and again, I'm rewarding. So each of these steps are really slow and going. You're not going to get this all in one sitting. Step 1 might be your first session, step 2 might be your second session, or it might be your third or fourth. You know your dog, so what you need to do is just read their body language and take it slow. If you can get a step each week, that's a huge win. As you can see here, I'm just really briefly touching the grinder now to his nail. I'm not shaping, it's just really quick touch, and then reward. So quick touches here, and then high reward. I'm talking to him the whole time. Again, really quick touch, and then treats. So not overstimulating him, not pushing him too far, just nice and short exposure to it at this point. Like I said previously, if your dog is not tolerating this step well, slow down, stay on the step you're at, focus on that a little bit longer before moving to this actual touching stage. But at this point, keep it really short and sweet and positive for them. Alright, so now we've gotten to the stage where we've moved the grinder to the nail, and this may have taken you several weeks to even get to this point, and that's wonderful. So now what we're going to try to do is just push it a little bit longer with a little more pressure, and just keep your eyes on your dog, try to watch their body language, see how they're tolerating it. Even just a second longer than it was previously is still a huge win and something to be proud of. Remember, the goal here is just to get them used to the pressure. If they pull their paw away from you like that, that's okay. I try to keep my hand still on his paw, but if he looks like he's getting a little anxious, I'll go ahead and just give him a treat and give him a little bit of a break. If they look like they're getting way too anxious, that's okay. You can just sit back, you can keep a hold of their paw, keep the grinder running, and just give them some treats and some affection. Drax and I worked on our nail desensitizing training probably once or twice a week for about a month and a half to 2 before even getting to this point. So don't rush it. It does take some time. That's okay. This video is just a condensed video, and you're not going to be able to get your dog to a point like this by the end of this video. It's just not realistic. So you just have to stick with it and just work with your dog. So when I'm giving treats, I prefer to kind of throw the treat to the side instead of use my hand, because I can use that time while he's eating the treat to distract him and get his nail back in front of me and start grinding on it. And each time I'm taking a little bit longer. If he pulls his foot away from me, that's okay. I'm just going to try to hold on to it and keep going at a reasonable pace for him, as long as he doesn't seem like he is too stressed. So he pulled it away, but he's doing pretty good for the most part here. So every time I move to a new foot, what I like to do is just grab that foot, just hold it in my hand. I still have the grinder on, but I don't go directly in right on the new foot. I just mess with it with my hands and let him get used to and understand that this is the foot I'm going to be working on at this time. And again, I reward. And then once he seems like he understands, we're going to go ahead and take the grinder to it. So what you're going to see here is Drax asking for a timeout. So he's going to rest his chin on me where I'm working. So this is him just kind of doing a gentle correction, saying, hey, that's a little bit much, I need a break. So what I do when he does this is I still hold onto his foot, I have the grinder running, but I just sit back and I just let him tell me what he needs. And I just sit there and I wait with him. And then as soon as he lifts his head off my hand, I will reward him, give him some praise, and go back to it. So there he goes, lifting his head, give him some treats, a little bit of some loving, and then we're going to go right back to it. This is just trying to be respectful with your dog and working with them instead of against them. In the past, I would have just moved his head off me and tried to keep going, but now I'm understanding what he is asking of me, and when I work with him, he is a lot more likely to cooperate. Again, you can see he'll pull his foot away, but that's okay. I just try to hold on to it and keep going. Some of it is kind of just a natural reflex for them as well. Lots of love, lots of treats. So as you can see, at this stage of our desensitizing, I am able to actually use my grinder and shape each and every nail. And he is tolerating it fairly well, but I still keep it really positive and lots of treats. So whether you're on the first step or this step, every time I end, I will release him off of his bed, and I want to get it really positive and give him lots of love and lots of attention and lots of affection, and just keep it a really positive experience for them. So just a reminder, go slow, take your time, listen to your dog, watch their signals. If they're panting, if they are yawning a lot, if they're resting their head on you, if they're seeming to be too anxious, just slow down. Eventually, you will get it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. You can follow along with us on Instagram and on TikTok as we share other parts of our daily lives and all kinds of entertainment. So once again, thanks so much and happy training and desensitizing with your beautiful pups.